Welcome to the legendary Virginia and Truckee Railroad, one of America's most iconic and historic railway lines. This railroad isn't just tracks and locomotives. It's a time machine back to the days of the Wild West, silver rush fortunes, and untold stories hiding in the smoke of steam engines. Stick around as we uncover some lesser-known facts about this incredible railway. Built in 1869, the Virginia and Truckee Railroad was originally designed to connect Virginia City's booming silver mines with Carson City and Reno. The Comstock Lode was a gold mine, literally, and this railroad became the lifeline of the region. But did you know that the V&T had over 60 locomotives during its peak and operated some of the most advanced steam trains of its time? Here's something you won't hear often. The Virginia and Truckee was nicknamed the Queen of Short Lines. It was only about 55 miles long at its greatest extent, but it moved more wealth per mile than most railroads in the country. Cut to a reenactment of a train robbery scene. Like something out of a Hollywood Western, this railroad saw its fair share of drama. Train robberies were a real threat, and lawmen often had to ride along for security. Legend has it that Butch Cassidy's gang had their sights on this railway, though no confirmed heists have been recorded. Speaking of Hollywood, did you know the Virginia and Truckee Railroad has appeared in over 100 movies and TV shows? Western classics like The Wild Wild West, Bonanza, and High Noon featured its historic locomotives. When Hollywood needed an authentic steam train, they called V&T. In fact, some of its trains were bought by movie studios and later restored to service. The railroad was officially abandoned in 1950, but rail enthusiasts never let it die. Over the years, pieces of the track and locomotives were restored, leading to the grand reopening of a heritage line in 1976. Today, you can ride the Virginia and Truckee just like travelers did over a century ago. Here's an eerie fact. Many claim the Virginia and Truckee is haunted. Stories of ghostly figures in conductor uniforms, phantom whistles, and the sounds of long-gone locomotives echoing in the Nevada hills have been passed down for generations. Paranormal investigators have even captured unexplained voices on the line. If you visit the Virginia City Depot, you might hear footsteps when no one is around, or see shadowy figures watching from the windows of abandoned railcars. Whether you believe in ghosts or not, there's no denying that this railroad carries more than just history, it carries stories. From silver booms to Hollywood fame, from abandonment to revival, the Virginia and Truckee Railroad has truly lived 9 lives. And it's still rolling today, keeping the spirit of the Old West alive. Next time you're in Nevada, hop aboard and ride through history. The railroad was once more valuable than gold. While the Comstock Lode made Virginia City famous for its silver, the V&T Railroad itself was one of the most profitable railroads per mile in the U.S. At its peak, it generated more revenue per mile than any other railroad in the country, even more than some transcontinental lines. It helped build San Francisco. Much of the silver and gold extracted from Nevada's Comstock Lode traveled via the Virginia and Truckee to Reno and then to San Francisco. This wealth played a major role in financing San Francisco's rapid growth in the late 19th century, making it one of the wealthiest cities in the West. The railroad once had a secret spur track for smuggling. Rumors persist that the V&T had hidden spur tracks used by mine owners and businessmen to secretly transport silver before the government could tax it. While no official records confirm this, Old maps hint at mysterious short rail extensions that vanished from official documents. It was one of the first railroads to be preserved for history. Unlike many old railroads that disappeared forever, the Virginia and Truckee was lucky. Rail enthusiasts and Hollywood preserved its legacy. When parts of the railway were abandoned, many locomotives and cars were stored rather than scrapped, making later restoration possible. The locomotives were once dumped in a river, then saved when the railroad shut down in 1950. Many of its steam locomotives were deemed worthless. Several were dumped into a river to prevent scrappers from taking them. Years later, some of these locomotives were pulled out and restored, with a few still in operation today. Mark Twain wrote about the V&T. Mark Twain, famous for his connection to Virginia City's newspaper, the Territorial Enterprise, frequently referenced the Virginia and Truckee Railroad in his writings. He even took the train several times and mocked its steep inclines and wild rides in his stories. It was almost turned into a highway after the decline of rail travel. State officials considered turning the old V&T trackbed into a highway connecting Virginia City to Carson City. Luckily, the idea was scrapped, and the line was later restored for tourism. The last full-scale steam locomotive repair shop still stands. The Virginia and Truckee shops in Carson City were once one of the largest steam locomotive repair facilities in the U.S. While much of it is gone, parts of the original shops remain, making it one of the last standing remnants of 19th-century railroad repair facilities. Some of the rail line's wood ties are over 150 years old. Although much of the track has been rebuilt, there are still original wooden ties buried beneath the current rails, dating back to the 1870s. These historic pieces of timber remind us that this railroad is still running on history. If you enjoyed this journey through time, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more incredible railway stories. See you next time on another adventure down the tracks.